Hello, and welcome back to fellowindhaka for another installment. Today's episode will be discussing my previous week. Last week I was able to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday with some other educational leaders at the Geist Center. It was really interesting to talk about some history of Thanksgiving and what Thanksgiving means in a more modern sense. Something else that was interesting was to be able to share food and to talk with other students, other exchange program alumni, to talk about how education can be further improved and how we can all learn from each other. I was able to make a few contacts, and hopefully I will be able to, I also was invited to some of their institutions so that I could just meet students, meet teachers, talk about education and how to move forward in the country, which I thought was very interesting, and I'm very grateful. I'm making some moves so that I can be able to participate by going to some of these institutions and working with people. In the classroom, I have come across some developments that have been a bit alarming. I've noticed that many of the students do not answer questions, and I may have spoken about this briefly, but last week I gave midterms to both my 102 and 103. Oh, shoot, this camera, it has the follow signal, and so it's following me automatically and lowering down. But as I was saying, I gave my midterms to my two classes, my 102 and 103, and what I'm again seeing more is that the students write for an exam. So they don't necessarily answer the questions that they're given with comprehension. They're only writing for the purpose of getting as many points as they think they can, which is good maybe for a math or a science class, but for a language class this does not work, because reading comprehension, for an example, if I give you questions based on the reading, that you're supposed to be able to comprehend, analyze, and then create an answer, as opposed to looking at the question and then looking in the text to see where you think the answer is, and then just write down what you saw from the text. Another example is for the writing. A lot of the students are making a lot of spelling, grammatical errors, but then they sometimes will try to use large words. And again, this points back to an old philosophy of test taking, where you want to impress the examiner with your vocabulary on the grounds of trying to get more points. And they're not actually thinking of their audience, of who is going to read it, what the reader may know, or what the reader may expect from reading the text. And now more of them are starting to come to office hours to get a deeper understanding about their grades and how they can improve. One thing that I have been using is Common Lit, primarily because it offers a lot of different reading texts and questions, so that students have something that they can review on their own during their own time outside of class. But I can also use some of the readings in class so that we can go over everything together, we can discuss, and they have interesting discussion questions, so that I would be able to give the students a discussion question for an essay that they can form a response around and use that as a prompt for writing. Some other notes for school and for the university is that they will be having undergraduate entrance exams coming up, and I will be invigilating. I signed up so that I can invigilate and help out with that. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And I have also made some progress on working with a temple. I'm going to be giving some English classes for a couple hours at a temple on Saturdays for the month of December. I'm looking forward to this exchange, this outreach program. I'm not certain what I'm going to teach yet, but I will probably make this more of a conversation oriented, maybe some reading comprehension and discussion. So we'll look into a few options to see what is best for the students, but also is useful in not only academic life, but in life in general. Last week, that's pretty much it. Gave midterms. I'm giving makeup classes on Fridays to help catch up. There's 3 classes. Since I came late in October, the semester had just started and we were a couple classes short. And I tried to start giving some makeup classes earlier, but to no avail due to conferences and other meetings. So last Friday was our first makeup class, and we have 2 more scheduled for the month of December to help get the students on track so that when finals come around at the end of December, they will be able to take their final with everybody else. So that's about it for me. Thank you again for coming to another installment of Fellowindhaka, and have a wonderful week.